Greetings and salutations, friends, and welcome to today's ArchCast, where we're going to be going through a fair few little issues. Starting, of course, with the cancellation of Cowboy Bebop, mere weeks after the absolute disaster finished its run. And no TV show deserves it more, frankly. It really doesn't. It was so confident in its own retarded little way. Like, oh, no, we can totally do this. We'll blow your socks off. The original creators love it and everything. Look, we have a female in the lead. No, she doesn't have the costume, but she doesn't need to. Bigots. And besides, it wasn't supposed to be good. Cowboy Bebop wasn't supposed to be a good TV show, Kyle. It was supposed to simply be a thing that bleeps and bloops at your face, and you're supposed to consume that, goddammit.
No. I actually looked at the Cowboy Bebop. Yeah, you know what? I don't really know if I want to say that. I might or might not have ever seen Cowboy Bebop, but I know when I looked at the TV show, I didn't want to watch that.
Well, the interesting thing is, okay, so the show's cancelled. Fair enough. It was awful. I don't think anybody liked it much. It received almost universally negative responses from the fans, and even the critics looked at it and was like, ugh. It's gonna be difficult running defense for this one. But what was really interesting is there was the little Vice article I sent you a snippet of. Netflix Cowboy Bebop isn't supposed to be good. It's a very interesting idea, isn't it? Why? In what universe would a TV show not be supposed to be good? Like, what is it supposed to be if not amusing?
See, isn't that funny? But I think that's definitely part of a narrative, and I know what you're joking at. But they're very much trying to spin like, well, it wasn't supposed to be good. It's a serious show, it's supposed to be, a slow burner or something like that. Like, well, they try to bend the narrative so that you're not so critical and that you're more positive towards the show.
Well, see, that wasn't even the argument. The point she was trying to make wasn't that it wasn't supposed to be good. It was supposed to be viewed as a stupid cosplay of the anime, which I'm pretty sure no one asked for.
Yeah. I mean, what do you think the reasoning was that kickstarted this whole TV show? If
Oh,
you had a wager guess.
Well, Netflix just simply decided to load the shotgun again. Because that's what Netflix does right now. Netflix just adopts everything and tries everything in the hope that something will be the next big hit, really.
Yeah,
And this was just one of the many pieces of mud flung at the wall.
I think you're absolutely right in that regard. That's something I've seen when I've looked at Netflix, even when they do like a movie or something of that nature. It seems like they're definitely trying the shotgun approach. They're trying to kickstart a bunch of stuff like, oh, a Cowboy Bebop show, live action show, this and that show, the Witcher TV show, and basically the hope is that something will actually blow up big. I also heard from somebody who's more of a movie critic or TV show critic. I'm not sure if that was like Mueller or something, but I remember watching some of their content and they had discussed how that they thought Netflix basically does this as a sort of like they do like a season or 2 seasons because if you look at any TV shows, especially long-lasting TV shows, as the time goes on, there is a viewer fall off and that show generates less and less and less money each time. So they do like a season because it gets its peak viewership, and if it's really good, it gets like a second season, then they drop it and move on to something else to get those highs, the high points.
Trying to get a quick cash out, potentially. But the thing there is, though, if that was what they were trying to do, just having like this big explosion, hoping that it worked out in the short term, because that was kind of what they did with He-Man Revelations. The first season was roundly loathed, and a lot of people hate watched it, and so they greenlit the second season to see if they could maybe earn a bit of money on a second outrage mob. The thing is, after the first season, nobody cared. Nobody watched the second season of Revelations. Not even the usual channels that usually talk about this. If anything, they made like one video on it and then just moved on because people had hope for He-Man. Like there was a genuine there was a genuine thought that maybe this could be good. And when the disappointment was made obvious, everyone simply just moved on again.
They lost the casuals too, because that's one thing I've always noticed. Because we have, at least in my following, I've got a lot of people who are fairly casual, and they'll be like, "Hey, I'm gonna buy it anyways." But if you lose the casual audience, if they pick it up and they're like, well, I don't want to do that anymore, that's bad. That's really bad because the casuals are where a lot of the money is at, and they're also trying to appeal to them. And if it's so bad that casuals drop it, like in the case of Cowboy Bebop, even the casual consumers that weren't super into it couldn't handle it. It was just bad. And I've seen a bit of the dialogue. It was really rough. Some of those scenes, like the acting's bad, the cinematography's really bad. Like it's just cheap.
There's also the fact that Cowboy Bebop was probably not a cheap show to make, because it's science fiction. It requires a lot of CGI, it requires a lot of costumes. And even when they did try to cut whatever corners they could by filming in cheapo goddamn locations, it must still have been a fairly expensive TV show.
It must have been. See. I don't know. I don't know. Do we have any estimations on the potential or the budget behind the show?
Nah, and I doubt doubt anything will come out either.
Not for a while, for sure. I just can't imagine it being a particularly big budget. Like the three actors they have, like I recognize the guy on the left. I can't remember what he's been in. I don't remember any of these actors' names, but remember, that's a personal thing because I'm just really. I like how their names are right there. John Cho and on the left, Daniel Pineda and Mustafa Shakir. I've never seen these two. He's from something. I don't know. They just don't seem like very big time actors, so they didn't get a lot of big names. But I'm not sure.
Joe's been an actor for a very long time. He's been in
Cho?
a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, John Cho, right? That's the guy on the left.
Yes.
Yeah, he's familiar. I think I've seen him several things.
But he was too old to play Spike, honestly.
How old is he?
He's not super old. He's like 40, closing in on 50, something like that.
Oh, wow. Yeah, isn't Spike supposed to be like, what, in his 20s or 30s, if I remember right?
20s, 30s, something like that.
Around that ballpark. He's also very limber, if I remember right, from some of the stuff I've seen.
Professional assassin, basically.
Yeah, I'd imagine.
But there's this entire idea, right? Because there's also a wider narrative at play here as well. I'll send you another one here from Screen Rant, which says, Wheel of Time is not doing the numbers that were expected, but that's the idea. The success of the show may be elsewhere, according to experts. That is the modern-day religious mantra right there. According to experts, or scientists, or whatever the goddamn hell you want to bring it up. But there's this idea now that if something isn't good, you still need to excuse it and prop it up if it has the correct point of view. Cowboy Bebop was a rather progressive show in many ways and an incredibly racist show in others, which I suppose is pretty much just the same goddamn thing these days. But Wheel of Time as well. Wheel of Time is a very progressive show, and much to the show's active detriment as well, as they have rewritten large parts of the actual story to fit in with their new narrative. Like, for example, the fact that the Dragon Reborn can suddenly be a male or a female, which is absolute nonsense. Like, it cannot be a female. And the Aes Sedai know this for an actual goddamn fact. Like, there is no question in the universe whatsoever as to the gender of the dragon, and yet they've just thrown that in there.
Yeah.
I don't know if you have you read The Wheel of Time.
I have not. I had a friend who did it, and he swore it up and down, but I never got around to it. Apparently, it's pretty good, from what I've heard.
It
And I,
is pretty good, but
yeah,
it's also a very interestingly paced book, shall we say.
yeah, I haven't read it myself, so I can't comment on the pacing or narrative structure at all. But I do have reliable friends. And I think you as well swear up and down by, don't you?
No, like I read the first couple of books like 20 plus years ago, and it was good. I remember liking it, but I also remember having this impression that this is a weird world. Even back then as a kid, I was like, wow, all of the women are absolute goddamn assholes. Why? It's in many ways, it's like the author decided to go like, right, what if I just flip the entire gender structure of this world upside down. And then I slap in a little bit of feudalism on top of it, basically. So the women are hardcore misandrists, most of them. And the men are almost written like the females. In like the women are like, oh, I just don't understand these men. They're so cute and yet so weird.
That is weird. Not gonna lie. I heard a lot of complaints actually from some of the people I know. I know my pops was actually watching the show, and over lunch he was actually telling me about it. And one of his biggest problems he had with the TV show wasn't necessarily the gender flop thing. It was actually had to do with like the technological regression, because apparently this society or this world was at one point more advanced, and then they walked back their technology somehow, but didn't somehow were able to retain certain parts of knowledge for some reason.
Well, that's the interesting thing. That's another massive rewrite in the TV show over the novels. In the novels, the men and women both used to be able to handle the source and make all kinds of magic nonsensory, but men were by and large far more powerful in the source. And then Satan arrived and went like, "Hello, I'm literally the devil." And so they had to fight, literally, the devil, of course. And the men sacrificed themselves in binding, literally, the devil, who also drove them insane in the process. And now you had hundreds, if maybe dozens, of ridiculously powerful male wizards that all went completely batshit bonkers and just started annihilating everything. And they introduced a period of like I don't know, I don't remember how many hundreds of years or even thousands of years of just desolation where these batshit insane wizards were wandering the lands, just swamping cities in caramel fudge for no goddamn reason whatsoever. Whilst
Okay.
the women were trying to control them and gentle them, cut them off from the power, and that's why everything's been brought back to feudal levels.
That's why their society has regressed because of this apocalypse. Gotcha.
Yes, but the
Uh,
entire point is the men were driven mad whilst literally stopping the world from being destroyed by Satan. In the TV show, they introduce you to the setting by going, oh, yes, one day the men just went kind of crazy with power and started killing everyone for no reason.
so they leave out some huge. Now hold on. Before I give any criticism in that regard, is it because they simply forgot through the passage of time what really happened?
Well, that's interesting you'll mention that because the people making the TV show were like, oh, yeah, you see, the Aes Sedai they've just forgotten most of this shit. It's ancient legend to them, which in a way could potentially hold up if it weren't for the fact that this isn't a religion to them. This isn't an ancient story or a myth. This is absolute goddamn fact, backed up by the fact that there are still male sorcerers, and they still tend to be vastly more powerful than the women. Like all of this is information passed down, and there's no questioning this. Like the fact that the dragon reborn, that there's a guy who's reborn through the wheel of time, who's always the one to defeat the Dark One, and if he doesn't come around, the world's dead. And yet at the same time, now that the males have been driven mad, they don't know whether or not he's gonna be crazy too. Again, like there's no there's no questioning this. The Aes Sedai know this for a fact. Like at no point in the books can I remember them going like, "Are we sure that the dragon's going to come around this time? Are we sure Satan is real?" Like, there's armies of beastmen invading constantly. I think that's a pretty good indication.
It's pretty abnormal, I must say. beast.
Again, maybe the chat who's read this stuff a little bit more recently can remind me, but I do not remember there ever being any kind of confusion as to this part of it.
I'm gonna have to
And
defer
again,
to their
the thing
judgment.
is,
What?
if that was the idea, right? If they were just wondering and they didn't know for sure whether this myth was true, why are they so strident about their current interpretation? Because at no point do they go, "Oh, the myth is so old. We don't know. Could be male, could be female." No, they're completely strident. The men destroyed the world because they went insane one day, suddenly. And yet they still know about the Dark One. They still know about literally Satan, yet they also still believe that the men just went insane. Like, it's an obvious rewrite for a very obvious reason.
Yeah, that does seem a bit suspicious, because if the previous lore, as it were, described it as they knew the reasoning why. I also heard that in one other thing, by the way, I want to make clear. If I recall correctly, I was told that the women kill men that have the, what do they call it, the source.
They do. They have a code of conduct where they'll control them if they can. They'll take away their magic bullshit if they can't, and they'll only kill them in the most extreme of circumstance. Actually, the chat brings up a very good point there. The Aes Sedai forgot it. Their mission is to prevent male sorcerers from going insane. It would be like the Catholic Church forgetting who Jesus was. Yeah.
Yeah,
Much.
I can see the comparison there. That'd be a bit weird. Catholic Church is like, so you need to worship this dude. It's like, this dude? It's like, yeah. Don't remember, but there's a guy. He did a thing.
There's also the fact that like one of their primary missions is looking for the dragon and also sifting through the false dragons, as they call them, because men still do have magic and they still tend to be more powerful than women, and so a lot of them in turn figure like, maybe I'm the dragon. Because the dragon is the hero. Like, the Aes Sedai is supposed to basically serve him when he arrives. That's also something that they tend to leave out of the TV show, mind you.
And how many episodes have you watched? I'm curious.
I think we're up to 7 or 6 now. And I've been watching them just hoping that things will get better, but it's just really boring. It's just really goddamn boring.
I mean, from this picture, granted, this is one picture, the outfits don't look particularly exciting.
Really low budget. Like, it's not very
Netflix,
interesting to watch. And also, let me look up here. Because of course they go with the usual nonsense. Let me find you a picture of the blue lady there, because of course one of the things that the book does very well, it goes into great detail to describe
the characters.
Yes, in very erotic language, is perhaps the word I'd choose.
So the writer was a bit thirsty, as it were.
Yes, he goes into great detail describing the size of their boobies at several points, for example.
I mean, it's his book. If he wants to do that, he's more than welcome to. Just like if he wants to do anything, I suppose.
Here is Moraine, right? Moraine is described as a pretty young, beautiful-looking female. And they decided to cast her as this incredibly strict-faced older chick.
There we go. Get a little bit of a side-by-side chat. Yeah, I'm gonna say it right now, like, it does feel like this is something we're seeing across the board, in terms of a lot of Western art productions, where they're the way they're handling like the female characters, they must be older, they gotta be, like this or that, and it's like that. Now, one thing I will say is she does kind of look like the girl on the right, if it was in the future and she's obviously gotten older.
Yeah, if the show was set 20 years further into the future,
Yeah, and
maybe.
she's like 40 or 60 or whatever. No, I'm kidding. That's mean. But like in her 40s. Because I assume on the right spot, what, 20s, mid 20s, 30s maybe?
Fairly young.
Yeah.
And all of the other Aes Sedai women are universally unattractive. Like, there's not a pretty female amongst them, because that's modern day television for you. They
Yeah.
also, one of the original band from the Twin Rivers, they gave him a wife for no particular reason, and he kills his wife in the first episode of the show by accident.
By accident.
Yeah.
Just whoopsie poopsie murder.
Yes. Pretty much.
Oh no, I just, twisted her head a
Like,
little too
oh
far.
no.
It's like, what?
Wife nobody ever heard about or knew. Darn. He
Dead.
gets over it awfully quick, though. Like, he sobs about it for like a quarter of an episode, and after that, it's never mentioned again.
He's like, by the way, I've totally recovered. This long emotional trauma that will, take a few episodes to build up so I can like think about that, right? You can build this up and write this out. So it's like how it affected him and how he's changed because of it as his character's changed, has become colder, and maybe later he warms up again as he, rediscovers love or something silly like that. But it's just like,
well, he doesn't
I'm
do
over
any
it.
of that. But he does become a furry.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Fair enough, I suppose. That's a weird direction to go. Not something I would like to pick.
It's only weird to you, Kyle.
I doubt that.
And
I think that's weird
obviously,
to you
most
too.
of the characters have had their races changed over the course of the writing process. But at this point, I just shrug and accept that. Honestly, I don't even care anymore. I'm just like, yeah, he's black now. It's fine. It's normal.
See, the one thing I will say, like, if there's an actor that can do something better, one of my favorite examples is a kids' TV show called Samurai Jack. And if I recall, Samurai Jack is like this Asian, Japanese feudal samurai who's went back to the past. But if I recall the voice actor correctly, he's actually a black dude. And sometimes, well, especially when it comes to voice work, right? You can have, it doesn't matter what the race is, as long as they can do the voice, they can do the voice. They got the gig. But sometimes I'll excuse like actors being incorrectly, thing. And if it's a horse, let's say if it's a band of brothers, like, and they're all like Arabic, and they're all like Indians, and it's an American division, and it's like what? That if they race change like historical stuff, that's a bit weird, and that's honestly not all right in my opinion. But when they start changing other things, it gets a little bit silly. And we all know what the reason is for that.
So all the original band of heroes, or useless twats as I prefer to call them, frankly, all come from a place called Two Rivers, which is a tiny, super isolated little mountain goddamn village, which has undoubtedly been the scene of a couple millennia of vicious inbreeding and nothing else. Yet it is, as always, remarkably diverse. It's got every color under the rainbow. Of course, obviously. And shit like this does actually begin to piss me off a little bit. It's as if Game of Thrones, you were going up to the far north and there's just brown and black people everywhere. Like, how did you get here?
Yeah, that's one thing.
It's like finding an African village and there's just a bunch of white people walking about. Like, this is
that would be
odd.
as awkward, if they made a film about the Ethiopian Empire and it was resisting like to Italy, and it's just filled with white people, and you're like, that's just like that doesn't feel right now, does it?
It's a lily white dude there. He's advisor to the king. Nobody asks any questions. No, none of them look weird at him or anything. Just like, yep.
He's also like part Italian, so there's this weird, like there should be this weird tension, but there isn't even that. Like, oh yeah, you're totally our people. That's the thing.
See,
that's you. Go ahead.
This is what we need to do in the future once the pendulum has swung back a little bit again. We need to just introduce random white characters to black settings again, just for no reason. Never explain it, never comment on it. Just dump a not just white, like Scandinavian white, like radiant white person down in the middle of Egypt, and never comment on it. Just be like, yeah, He's not even a character, he's just a dude in the background, just one of the villagers, and he's glowing on screen. Oh, perfect.
No, see, if I watch an historical film and it's about like the warriors of Aksum, I expect them to be, the correct ethnic group. I don't want to see them be like Anglo, because it's like,
Well,
no, that's not
dig
historically
it.
accurate.
That's where you're wrong.
It's not where I'm wrong. I just want to look at the people, and I want to look, correct. And when you talk about like races, being historically, because the thing is, people didn't migrate a lot, right? This is actually something, this really cool game called Kingdom Come Deliverance, that
Ooh,
got a lot of flack for.
gingers. Yes, gingers. That's what we need. We need to
God
make
damn it!
Shaka Zulu, the TV show, properly, and there's just gonna be one Ginger Zulu. Yes.
He just like glows and sticks out.
In the
Uh,
middle of the battle line, there's one just shining white ginger standing there alongside all of the other ones.
he's got like a little bit of sunburn, because That's so stupid. I hate you. I don't like you anymore. That image, it's over, Barch. The Barchcast is canceled, Chad. I'm sorry. We're gonna have to pull it. That's
Oh,
an image I
no, no,
don't
no.
need.
That's what we need. It'd be brilliant. Like, imagine the Zulu movie, right? When they're standing on top of the hill doing their, like, oh, thingity bob song, and there's just one white person. Nobody comments on it. Nobody looks at him. Just one lily white ginger just standing there alongside all of the other Zulus. This is what we need. Oh, yes, heavy freckles, too. Yes, like, not
Ugh.
just face freckles, but like chest freckles, It's really gone far.
See, chat, you don't know the half of it. I was playing Halo Infinite the other day on stream. Arch comes in, because it's our streams are welcome. We have guests coming all the time. Open door, right? And we go from criticizing the Halo Infinite story to talking about the Caro cost and the Cars universe and how it would logistically work. He does
Which should
this.
happen, by the way.
He does this. I don't even know what to say about it. And the worst part is hands joined in. Oh, I'm gonna bully him later. The Caro cost.
But this is just simply the direction modern day entertainment is going in. Like, I was kind of excited for the Wheel of Time TV show because I remembered reading the books, yes, the books, a
Hey,
long time ago, and I was like, this is my chance to get back into the setting. Like, no, that ain't happening.
remember what was that one little fantasy show that came out? It kind of fell to the wayside, but it was kind of fun for a while. It was called like Legend of the Seeker or something.
Legend of the Seeker. Wasn't that
That was a
based
fun show.
on? Yes, that was Sword of Truth. Yes, I knew it. I knew that.
I don't know
All right,
that.
so that'll bring me on to another little side tangent. Actually, hold on. Let me bring up the. There we go. There you go. Now, ignore the man on the left. He's completely irrelevant. Fuck him. Focus on the right. Right. Whilst everyone is focusing on the. Oh, that's right. She was hot too. God damn it. This is a
Fuck.
show that actually had attractive female characters. It's pissing me off now.
She's wearing her tight leather suit. She's like, look at me, I'm very sexy.
God damn it. See, the Legend of the Seeker was based on the Sword of Truth book series. The Sword of Truth book series, I've actually read the whole thing, and it's a really cool book series that it does that kind of epic high fantasy stuff where you begin with a very humble story and then you go hard crazy when you're dealing with evil empires that communicate via fucking bees and shit. It's beautiful. And it had attractive female characters in the TV show. Now, the chick on the right is a professional dominatrix. I shit ye not. There's an entire order of professional dominatrixes that they take on men that need to be interrogated, basically, or turned to the kingdom's service, and they just BDSM them until they give up and become their loyal pets. There is chapter after chapter after chapter in the book describing in vivid detail this process. It's something. It is truly goddamn something. And The whole show is really goddamn cheap. It reminds me of Xena, Warrior Princess, or Hercules from like the 90s.
Oh, Hercules with Kevin Sorbo, right?
Yes,
That was
yes.
fun. Disappointed. I just remember that line. And his relationship with his father Zeus is kind of cool too. That was a fun show. They
It
later went
was.
on to do Andromeda, and there was a reference in like the first episode where he opens up like this captain cabinet, and there's his Hercules outfit, and one of the crew members is like, "What's that?" And he's like, "It's a long story."
And the thing is, the TV show actually remains relatively true to the books and does a pretty good job of it. It ain't perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but honestly, it did a better job of it than The Wheel of Time is doing now, and on a fraction of the budget. Which, oh, that's sad.
That is sad. Think about it. Think about it. Hercules, the TV show. I remember that because we bought the box sets. I remember, and like, it was one of those things where it's like it's very cheap, but it's got this charm to it. I don't know. In my opinion, Kevin has maybe that's just the actor Kevin Sorbo, but he's got this like charm to him. Like he's just fun. I'm not insane, am I? Chad, am I insane? I need to be validated.
And you might be a little insane because, God, those. I rewatched Xena a few years ago, and my God, it was awful, Kyle. It was awful in so many ways.
Legend of the Seekers is supposedly on Prime. Well, I know what I'm gonna go look for later.
Sadly, it just stops. Like it didn't get renewed, and it just kind of ends. And it ends in a really weird spot too. Eh. Honestly, it was probably ahead of its time because that's like goddamn 10 years ago or something. If that had been released today, it would probably have been like an Amazon big budget thing, and it probably would have done far better. At least if it went with the cast it actually had, because that cast was actually fairly good.
Also, I have a counterpoint. Next time we bring on Sargon, we need to talk about it because we talked about some movie actors. I have a new proposition. Kevin Sorbo as the Emperor. I'm totally not stealing that from chat. I totally am. He's got the face for it.
Had the face for it is the argument I'd make.
Listen, he can play the Corpse Emperor instead, okay? Close enough.
Like maybe, place him on a grueling regime of physical activity for a year or so. If he survives, then we'll talk.
If he survives. Oh my god.
Like you,
A bit
you
mean.
say that like I'm joking, but remember he's like 60 plus or something now.
See, I can't remember. Like in my head, when I see these actors, I'm like, oh yeah, that's what they look like. And then, like I watched Star Wars like a year ago, and then I was like, yeah, that's what Harrison Ford looks like. And then I saw Harrison Ford now, I'm like, oh my god, he's basically dead.
He is. He is basically dead.
I'm killing myself.
Now, before we move on to the next topic here, Space Marine, because I saw there was actually a super chat came in before we started from Oddball, saying, we have been chatting about Space Marine 2 with Oliver, the creative director, this afternoon and are now more optimistic. Sounds based. Best wishes from Metal Man, Grim, and Oddball of the Legend of Unpopular Opinions. And also, Andrew Apollo popping in and saying, Hiela, because he's weird and deserves to be hunted through the streets.
Bit rude, but all right. Bit
But
violent.
factually correct. But all right, so Space Marine 2, right? Space Marine 2 was
we're moving on
announced
to that.
like yesterday or something.
Damn it.
And Jesus. I hope I'm just the old cynical man here that just hates everything new he sees. I hope that is me, because I want Space Marine 2 to be good. I really like the first Space Marine, but consider the following. One, this ain't Relic. This is some no-name studio with Focus Home Interactive backing them up. Like, that alone tells me that the best we can hope for is abject mediocrity. And then we found the writer of this, who is obviously a politically active trans woman that has never mentioned 40K ever before, but suddenly is really goddamn excited about it. And I hate this because we've seen this every time. This is the recurring theme in every one of these fandoms when they hire somebody like this, whose entire Twitter feed is just political nonsense. And suddenly, they're the biggest fan of this thing ever. She's like the chick who did the Star Wars thing, right? Remember that? Who mentioned specifically that Star Wars was not her favorite franchise. Then she got hired to write some Star Wars garbage, and suddenly,
I
oh my
love
god,
Knights of the
it's
Old
the
Republic.
best thing ever.
Yep. Now, one thing I will say, and I've been fairly critical on Twitter, honestly, is, God, chat, stop it! You're making me want to cough more. I will get through this. Fuck. I won't. But, I was contacted by somebody allegedly who claims they're part of the Space Marine team. And not just me, but a bunch of other people. They were reaching out to critical people who are being critics about their game, and basically trying to reassure people that they, for fuck's sake, really, Christ's sake, they want to like ensure people that yeah, no, we're gonna be faithful to the game. And while I do appreciate that, because that shows that these people have bigger balls, if this is true, than most people, because most people just put you on a blacklist for being critical. So kudos for making the effort. But again, platitudes are nice, but they don't have any substance or value to it. We actually need to see results. I've been promised to time and time again, and so is Arch. We were promised, Eternal Crusade would be great. We were promised that Dawn of War 3 was going to be great. We were promised Fallout 76 was going to be great. We were promised Mass Effect Andromeda was going to be great. We were promised Battlefield 2040, whatever the fuck, was going to be good. How many of those were good? Not much. I think they were all garbage and lies and disappointments. We've been lied to a lot. And I'm willing to hear them out. I'm willing to give them a chance. But they need to be super open. And they need to definitely not insert their politics. I don't care if Ashley Cooper has, their politics or Oliver, their politics. That's their business. That's their, their thing. And even if we disagree with them and whatnot. But what I do care about is if they're inserting them into this universe. Because the thing is, you need to leave contemporary politics at the door. When you're playing a game to have a good time and play it to have fun. But Arch raises a good point. Like, these people, not necessarily these people in particular, but people like them in the past have done many things. They say one thing and then they do another. So, honestly, in my opinion, skepticism is key here. Be skeptical, because there's nothing wrong with being critical about something. All you have to lose is simply just being wrong. And isn't it better to be wrong about something than to have wasted money and have been lied to and tricked and deceived? I think it's way better to just be critical. Because think with your head. Don't buy into hype, because hope is the road to disappointment in the industry these days.
And Kyle brings up a good point, right? Because platitudes are ever so easy. The writer woman too put out a tweet saying like, oh, we know how much this means to you. We in GW will totally make sure that we're going to make a good game this time. Right. Again, Eternal Crusade, Battlefield 2042, all of these things, all of these titles. There's not a game producer out there who's been like, yeah, no, we pretty much aim to just make a mindless cash grab to profit off the name of this thing and then move on. Like, of course not. Obviously not. Now, it is a step in the right direction that they are actually, even responding to it instead of simply calling the critics bigots, which is another fan favorite in the gaming industry these days.
Yes, actually going out of your way to reach out to a critic who's actually, being vocal. Because I was being vocal in my statement. I wasn't saying very nice things. And Oliver actually did reach out. Now, that's again, assuming Oliver's a legit person. But that shows, balls. That shows this guy's, he's like, no, for real, though. We're going to make a good game. Just give us a chance. And I'm like, all right, fair enough. I'll give you a chance. But the thing is, you can say a lot of stuff, and that's cute. But you have to produce results, because if you don't show results, what happens is people don't really believe you. That's something I've learned over the years with working on my own stuff, and that's something I've seen with other people from their own projects and stuff like that too. You need to have something to show for, show progress, show development, show that things are actually in motion, that you're being open to the community, that you're hearing what they have to say. Because with this game, they do need to be open, because this game's going to have a huge multiplayer component. They're going to need to not only pick up the torch where Space Marine 1 left off, but they're going to need more better custom lobbies, more custom settings and mutators and stuff. Building on the foundation that was established with Space Marine 1, not simply just remaking that, but taking that torch and pushing the envelope forward, not backwards, not at the status quo. The game needs to evolve forward. Building on the mechanics that it established before, refining the problems that it had before, and moving forward.
Yes. Stringent skepticism is the best approach to any of this. Because also, again, remember, what is the first thing we've seen of this game? We have seen Primaris Marines, because you can bet your ass, GW demanded they put Primaris Marines in the game. So all of the Space Marines are now Primaris Marines. There will not be Space Marines in another 5-6 years. They're just going to kill off the entire old school Space Marine models, all of them. And secondly, we also need to talk about the elephant in the room, the fact that Titus is 200 years older, and the only mention of the Inquisition is that he's wearing a rosetta around his wrist. What the hell happened over the course of 200 years? What the hell happened to Titus's censor? Remember, he was being reported by one of his own brothers. What happened to that little shit?
Yeah, a 200-year time skip is not good writing. It's not a great way to start off a story, because you're effectively skipping everything and just going to do what we call telling, not showing. They might do some flashbacks, but it's basically telling and not showing. Like, we needed to see what happened to Titus, because the original creators said that if they had the chance to make a sequel, they were intending to make it about Titus going rogue to basically prove himself and, deal with, Lanadros and all that. They're effectively throwing that to the wayside. Now, why are they throwing it to the wayside? That's the next question we need to ask. Well, the why is obvious. Arch just said it. GW doesn't give a shit about this game, period. GW doesn't give a shit about you. They just want your money. And they're trying to sell Primaris Marines. That is why they had the developers make him into a Primaris Marine and not remain a regular Space Marine. It's very obvious. And I don't even fault the actual developers for this. This is probably a GW thing, much like what Arch said, because the odds are it is. GW is the one that retcons and changes stuff just so they can, peddle the next plastic piece of garbage on somebody. I'm not even surprised. Sadness. Depression.
We'll have to wait and see how they try to square this particular circle, but right now it has all the hallmarks of very messy design. You introduce a character, which the fans love, and then you do something awful to him. You completely ignore his backstory, you teleport him into the fucking future, and you completely change him, in this case by making him into a Primaris Marines. Alright, what else have they changed? What else have they changed before we even get a chance to look at this game? I am very skeptical towards it.
And that is the correct approach. If you have friends who are, quote-unquote, buying into the hype, dissuade them from that. Hype is not a good thing. It's not good for the developer. It's not good for the game. It's not good for the consumer. What hype does is it effectively blinds people. We need to be ready to call out stuff if stuff is wrong with the game and tell the developers, hey, this doesn't look really fun. Or if they do like a multiplayer beta, like, hey, like the bolter doesn't feel right, the sounds aren't right. Can you please make them beefier? Being quote unquote caught up in the hype train is a very toxic and very dangerous thing. What we also see is people blindly defend things. Will lash out at people being critical. This is something we don't want to see. I mean, this is why we often get bad games, because we quote unquote sometimes deserve it, because we, as a community, don't let people be critical when there's something wrong with the audio, when there's something genuinely wrong with the gameplay. The guns don't feel solid. The combat's not tight and needs refinement. And this game needs to be tight. Don't buy into the hype. Hype is dangerous. Hype is bad.
There are many things we need to see before we can start getting excited about Space Marine 2 for the time being.
Mm-hmm. Until we see
Alright.
something. Listen, Duck Dick. I use "we" as an imperial term to encompass the community.
You wanna get excited about something here. We'll have a slight break in here before we move on to Homeworld and Dune, because we want to talk about just a little bit more gaming stuff today. But
There's a lot of stuff.
there are some retarded things before we get some super chats. First and foremost, I promised to show this from Lazy Soda, who commissioned this thing.
Oh yeah, he's been excited. He's been telling me about this.
Yep.
Now I can finally see what the heck it is.
I
That is
believe
very-
that is Julka there, blowing something up.
I think that might be. There's lots of rackets. This looks like Fish's work.
Fish.
The artist. He's on our Discord. Yeah, I think this might be Fish. This definitely has his mark.
I will say the reference is slightly lost on me, beyond Julka, that is.
I have no idea what any of this is. It looks cool. Oh, wait, the purple flames. That's like a JoJo reference. Oh, now I hate myself. Excuse me while I go
You
get
should.
some-
I haven't even watched JoJo, you goddamn normie.
Because that's where the purple flames come from, right? Chat, help me.
Don't make
Help me, chat.
excuses.
Chat, help. Chat, help.
Don't make excuses. Also, my Discord has been extra active as of late, and since we're talking about Space Marine 2,
That's got copyright music.
somebody needs to take away the face app from people. I suggest banning it.
How the fuck do I open this without it playing?
Just mute the stream for a bit, I guess.
Mute the
'Cause it
stream for
will-
a bit.
I don't even know.
I
That's
don't.
your problem, Kyle.
Do you
It's
want
your
me?
issue.
You might lose monetization.
Monetization.
I just don't want to open it and get yelled at later. That's all. As long as you're ready
You've
for me to.
already cost me too many monetized streams, you little dirtbag.
I'm downloading it. Chat, I'm gonna try to pause as quickly as possible. Chat, be loud. Okay, that's probably 1 second. We're probably safe. Probably. How do you mute stuff on Windows 10?
I don't even know.
This is awful. I find these things to be absolutely cringe, and I hate your community for doing that. I'm going to find a
Yes.
way to have I'm going to use the power of nepotism to single out people who post this stuff and have them removed from your Discord server behind the scenes, sort of like some sort of like conspiratorial thing. Your days are numbered.
Not a bad idea.
Your days are numbered, whoever made them. Your days are Disco, I need your help with something. I'm calling it a
Incidentally,
favor.
if you're wondering what the music is, it's Who Let the Dogs Out, which is an interesting
They
choice.
heard that part. That was awful, and I want to commit murder.
And I know that's probably the best part of Space Marine you're ever going to see. But I will say this: I do condone some.
I swear to
of
God,
this.
if you make more.
I condone this one. I condone this one. This one I condone.
You send
shouldn't even
more
have
of this
copyrighted music, I
crap
think.
to me. Vic, I hate these things. Or, fucking God, I'm gonna hurt you. Pause. Pause. Okay, it's got music. That's also copyrighted. This isn't. This is
Details.
dumb.
This one I approve because fucking
It's fine. You want to know why?
Homelander is an awesome character.
I'm
Oh,
pausing it
awesome
at that
character.
spot right there. Yes, it's perfect because much like Homelander, Barge is thirsty for the milkies.
That's cruel. Disgusting.
It is. I can just imagine you. I wish it had the edited scene where like he's like licking into that little bottle and like that.
No, they didn't add that in because I would have deleted that.
See, Arch only wants certain stuff.
Yes. I do only want certain stuff, that is correct. Homelander can stay. The Space Marine one, that's borderline. And you should see some of the far worse ones that they've put up somewhere. Ooh. There are worse. There are much worse.
See, chat's like, oh my god, Gibbs hates fans. Yeah, I'm coming for you, Jimmy. Your 2 shoes will soon be 1 shoe. So, you have to buy another shoe. Shoes are expensive, by the way. At least good ones. Very inconvenient.
It pisses me off the most too, is I really liked Homelander in the first season because he was so god damn creepy. Like, it's not just that he's powerful, right? Because dangerous is not an interesting characteristic in and of itself. Like, a gun is dangerous, a goddamn pig is dangerous in the correct circumstance, you know? But it's that he's psychotic. It's that he is unbelievably powerful, and he is held in place only by the thinnest of goddamn lines. Like, he exudes this threat whenever he's on screen, like he's an atom bomb just begging to explode. Oh, Homelander was a great villain.
I remember hearing a lot of positive things. I heard that in the later seasons he fell apart, though.
Later seasons, literally season 2.
Oh, the later season. I've not heard much
Yes.
good about it. I've heard from a lot of people that it's just like, eh. See, I don't like superheroes, so I don't watch superhero stuff, so because it's not my cup of tea.
I think I am now going to have to try and I encourage all Homelander memes made about Arch chat, all of them. Oh, almost all of them. Some of them I might have to disavow if they include milk, but all of them. I need to start using that because it'll piss off all the correct people, I suspect.
I think that Disco and I are gonna have to have a purge. A secret purge. The Gestap Kibs or the Gestap Disco. The Gadisco.
Homelander is approved. Blanket approval.
The secret police.
Now, you should go watch The Boys, Kyle. You should. Because the first season is pretty damn good.
See, here's the problem with that argument. You're like, watch the first season, it's good. The problem is like, oh, good, so I'll get invested and be like, yeah, I like this. And it's like, I know for a fact it gets like trash later on.
Well, that's the thing. Because the second season is worse, but it's not garbage. It's heading towards garbage, so the third season is going to be very interesting. But there are certain plot points they do fairly well. Like, there's a dude who is disgusting in that he's Aquaman, and nobody likes Aquaman. And he's also a little bit of a sexual harasser and rapist, and, you know, stuff like that. Character flaws, certainly. And he also likes to fuck fishes. Like, actually, like, he has a sexual intercourse with a dolphin at one point in the show, which is a little out of left field, but there you go.
What?
Don't ask questions, Kyle. It's fine. But he's actually somewhat sympathetic, which is weird to say after having, you know, pointed out what he's been doing there. In that he gets screwed over so royally so many times, and he keeps making stupid mistakes while still, like, he's trying to do better, but he gets constantly dicked over by reality and by himself constantly too. And he's weirdly sympathetic in a stupid way. I actually kind of like him.
That's what
Then you've
happens when you
got-
humanize your villains. They become interesting.
Yes, like A-Train is actually one of the weaker villains in that regard because he's the one who starts this entire thing, and he introduces you to the show in a beautiful way. Because the main character, who's just some rando dude, is walking on the street with his girlfriend, and he's holding her hands, and suddenly that's all he's holding, her hands, because she has been fucking spread across the pavement like so much fucking tomato sauce. Because A-Train, who's basically the Flash, ran into her at like Mach 7.
Jesus.
Yes, Jesus. And this is the entire premise of the show, that there are a bunch of superheroes, and some of them try to do good. Like, some of them genuinely do attempt to not be awful, or at the very least, like, weigh up the awful with the good. But some of them are just psychopaths. Like, they're just... A-Train is just a famous person. He's a super famous athlete who will do anything it takes to remain super famous, and he'll take drugs if he has to. Like, he'll disavow his family if he has to. He'll throw his girlfriend under the bus if he has to. It has so many actually genuinely good villains that they're not just evil, they're on the spectrum, you know? Some of them are just selfish bastards like A-Train. Some of them are psychopathic walking nuclear bombs like Homelander, but he still loves his children, you know? And others are just sadist murderers. To throw those in as well, so that you don't feel too bad when the heroes eventually murder them violently.
Fair enough. Yeah, that's
Stormfront.
Homelander's new girly friend because she's evil. She's Nazi or something.
Yeah, Stormfront was a
Literally.
real disappointment to me because Stormfront in the comic books wasn't just an actual straight up Nazi. Like he wore a goddamn swastika as his Superman icon, and he was retardo powerful. He was
But I thought it was
basically
a she.
Superman as
I'm
well.
very confused now.
No, he was a he in the comics, and then they gender swapped him because reasons.
What?
Yes, it's the current year, Kyle. It's normal.
Hey, I don't even know where I'm going with that. At
You
least
don't.
is she a hot evil Nazi though?
Yeah, I'd say so. I mean, she's like 110 years old, but if you're into that,
She's got
that's
like a
you, I
picture of
guess.
her with like Himmler and they're smiling or something.
But in the comic, they made he was too two-dimensional in that he was just literally a fucking Nazi, and he would claim to be a Nazi in the open, and yet the hero industry would still be like, look, there's Stormfront, isn't he cool? Because they just wanted the money, and he was too powerful to piss off. Which is like that's a cool commentary on the setup, the hero industry as an entertainment industry. But he was way too flat and two-dimensional. Stormfront in the TV show is better because they introduce her in a really clever way where she comes across as this very kind of counter-revolutionary kind of person. Like she doesn't care, she doesn't like the hero industry, she's just a real person on Twitter, etc., and shit like that. And then she turns out to be the most cynical of the bunch. Like she's pretending to be a communist basically, to use people to cultivate a following of useful idiots on the internet. That part was really cool. And then she just turns flat 2D evil as just a literal Nazi and just starts killing people because shits and giggles. Wasted character. Oh, and it's a modern TV show as well, so despite being a actual, literal Nazi, she never once uses a racial slur throughout the entire show. Because.
Well, Nazis were very considerate, you see.
The thing that pisses me off the most, The Boys tries to be such an edgy show with all of its blood and violence and gore and brutality, and it tries to release shocking trailers where they ram a speedboat up a blue whale's asshole. Again, literally. Yet I guarantee you, the thing they could have done that would have gotten the most shock and outrage clicks was just to have Stormfront front and center English, Jesus, uttering the one singular word that must not be spoken.
My God.
Boom. Instant television success as billions of people tune in to watch that one singular moment. And then, don't even have us say the whole word, just like the
It
beginning of
cuts.
it. And then it cuts and it does the same in the show. Oh god, the reaction would be so incredible. Like the entire internet would just be filled with complaints and angry noises. And then they can promise to do it properly in season 3. Oh Jesus, the grift would not end.
That would be funny. That would get a lot of clicks,
Excellent.
but honestly, I don't know. Getting them outrage clicks. I mean, I guess they're clicks. Clicks are clicks, but
Well, again, the entire point of The Boys is to try and be outrage edgy, right? The
you
entire
might as well go the whole way. Yeah. I get it.
yes.
I get it. You go the whole way.
It would give them wall to wall coverage on every entertainment website, every YouTube channel. Fuck, the news would be covering it, I bet you. Oh, it would be hilarious. It genuinely would be. Sadly, they're not that edgy. What was that saying again? Oh, Eminem, I'm so crazy, I'm so crazy. You say the N word. No, no, no.
I'm scared. Oh, you do love it when they pretend to be tough, don't you?
Yes.
I'm tough. And then he's like, say the N-word. He's like, I'm not that tough. Jesus.
I think I am some kind of maniac.
It's like, bro, what
I
are you,
like
some
my
kind
careers, thank you.
of
But yeah, no.
decriminalize words?
I went off on quite the tangent there because I actually really love the first season of The Boys, and again, I love Homelander as a villain because he's so fucking creepy. Like even the whole milk drinking thing. I won't spoil what makes him so creepy with the milk, but there's like a 10-minute scene that just makes me physically uncomfortable because it mixes together like his psychopathic nature, his need for nurture and love with sexual overtones along with the fact that it's baby milk as well. Like it's disturbing. And it's been a while since a TV show has been able to make me feel anything except, well, rage and loathing, frankly.
Barch talks about how much he likes the Milkies. I told you, Chant. I told you.
It is a good scene. It is a damn good scene, because it's so fucking creepy. Right, let me do some of the super chats in the Streamlabs before it scrolls and they're lost forever to the darkness of the void. Evolve the Potato says, it's a great day for another art stream. I'm 21 today. You're legal now. Where do you live?
They've been legal for a while.
Well, yeah, but legal in... See, Kyle, I didn't mean legal in that way, you perverted homosexual. I meant now you can get legally drunk and then be taken advantage of.
That's assuming that they're a United States citizen, though.
21? Isn't 21 like the highest for drinking like hard alcohol?
God help me, Chant. Or it's like, shut up. It's better
It
that
is
you
a question.
struggle.
So, to celebrate, Kyle can be widened as much as he wants. All hail ArchCast and breed the ANCAP cat trap anti-vax that is Kib. We've actually had an update to that now. It's fake gamer girl ANCAP cat trap anti-vax. So it needs to be read. Fake gamer girl anti-vax ANCAP cat trap. There you go. That one flows relatively well.
It doesn't, but all right.
Don't worry, Kyle. Just calm down. You're basically a feudal lord at this point. You're like, I have all of these titles. Anti-vax cat trap game.
A feudal lord. It's like playing CK and just racking up the titles. It's like, just look at my big old titles.
Chloe says, did you guys hear? It's been confirmed by Facebook's or Meta in court that fact checks are just used to maintain or push protected opinions. So whatever you want to thought. Yep, I saw that. So basically, in case people are unaware, there was a scientist, believe the scientist, unless they're on the wrong side of the fence, in which case, don't. Which said, he put out a tweet, or Facebook, thinking about God fucking knows what it's called, a meta. Yes, he put a meta update up. And then Facebook slapped a fact check on his article that basically like, this guy dumb. And so he sued them for defamation, basically. And now Facebook in court are saying that their fact checks are not fact checks at all. There's nothing factual about it. It's just like my opinion, bro. That's their legal defense now.
I mean, it's a start.
The problem is you still call them fact checks, Meta. It's a fact check. It's just an opinion, though. Opinion check. It doesn't have quite the same, ring to it, I guess. See, oh god, that is so Orwellian in and of itself. Just like, hold on there, your social media wants to check your opinions.
You've had too many spicy takes.
God, we're gonna live in the fifth element at some point. You'll make a social media post and they'll be like, you have 0 spicy posts remaining. Would you like to purchase the spicy post package?
For more spicy posts.
Remember, your viewership and engagement scores will increase.
As they push it. Honestly, that's where we're actually headed in terms of, like, digitization. Well, actually, sort of. But they select to. You can't pay for that feature on YouTube.
Well, some services do provide actually a boosted feature.
Oh yeah, like with Twitter, you could make promotional tweets or whatever for like a bajillion buckaroos. But on
Yes.
YouTube, you have to just be politically connected or connected with the right
You
people.
have to suck the correct cocks, or clitorises in this case.
There's a couple of ways on YouTube. One, having a right cock in your mouth helps. Number two is actually just simply never saying anything spicy and being lucky and riding the algorithm. That's the harder approach. Sometimes it's easier to put a cock in your mouth. All right, Chet, don't be bigots. We need to get bigger on YouTube. You gotta do it, though. I'm not doing it. We can pick James Howard. James Howard can put the cock in their mouth. I've selected the sacrifice, chat. I'm a nice person. What do you think, Arch?
I think if anyone is going to be taking a cock here, it will probably have to be you.
No.
More than likely. Chloe also says, let's hope the new head writer is just a figurehead for 40K's show and she just does tons of cocaine while leaving project alone. Yet I feel that is a pipe dream. Maybe it's just a flag to wield, like, hey, look, we have this thing. Holds it up to the camera. And the trans people scan it with their little trans detectors, like beep 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 beep. Yes. Your credentials check out. Damn, that's some heavy paper to carry around. Like, screw just papillon. Haven't seen a papillon? No, you have to carry a person around. Ugh. So much hard work. I prefer that we just go back to the Homelander meme running on constant repeat in the background.
No.
Eh.
Those things are cringe, and you know it. Deep down inside, it makes you
Homelander's
cringe.
awesome.
Yes, and you can play it. We've already played them. We played both of them.
You only played it like once, though.
And it was painful. See, I know you. Arch is like, Arch want to be Homelander. Arch needs mommy prop.
I would make a rather excellent Homelander.
We'll use the phone art. The fan art. If this is made on a phone, Fish, you did a damn good job. You did.
I officially request that we change my stream avatar from the woman to Homelander.
No.
Homelander.
You've got big titties.
Homelander. It's such a good name, too. Homelander.
Fine,
the
chat.
protector of the homeland. Motherlander. That would have been good, too.
I have a
Motherlander.
present.
Just a really massively obese woman with superpowers. Oh, that'd be hilarious, actually. Like, she kills people by crushing them beneath her titanic ass cheeks.
Behold, chat. Behold. Our team has begun production of something kind of relevant to Arch. It is the Barch Mini.
See, this is the problem with Kyle as a co-host. Like, he refuses to play Homelander, but he'll totally shill his own shit. Disgusting.
Still his own shit. This is gonna be yours.
Also, Puckles does look like a little bit of an insect there. Like, those are some fucking massive, massive insect eyes right there.
They're based on the art, okay?
Like, Jesus. That's a creepy looking dog right there. Why am I barefoot? Kyle, why am I barefoot?
I'm not the artist. Hey, in the original art, hold on a second. That is a good question. Why are you barefoot? Let's pull up the concept art. There it is.
Kyle fetishizes me some more in the background.
There's
like
the concept
1917
art.
says, Squeck and hail Arch Christ, our Lord and Savior. Sound Kibbs, whilst breeding him. Oh, great Arch Christ, please share with us your newfound knowledge on My Little Pony and how it equates to Kyle being a furry degenerate. Well,
Ew.
I learned something on Kyle's stream the other day, in that ponies measure things in ponies, and so the average height of a pony is just simply a pony.
Firstly, when he says that, he's being very misleading. He was the one who brought that up on my stream, because every time he brings up the most cancerous stuff over there.
No, I'm pretty sure there was chat that brought me onto that particular tangent, where I had to figure out how tall a pony was, and it turns out a pony is exactly one pony tall. Though the special ponies can be 2.5 ponies tall, but those are the very special ponies. Skullthrone888 says, being lazy, something vague Kib's insults. Just tell him to get sounded again.
See, Scully, your boomer insults and jokes don't work. He tried, like, boomer jokes the other day. We just laughed at him. And Scully cried. It was funny.
Commander Wolf says, glory to Archtopia and Kibonia. Birthdays today and couldn't ask for a greater present. Live action Slain. Spaceman 2 coming out, but concerned cause a writer. Homeworld 3 trailer when that comes out. We are going to get on to the Homeworld 3 thing, but well, we would have been here already if Kyle hadn't distracted me with Homelander.
You do it to yourself.
Justin DeBari says, sad to see Titus to join the ranks of Space Marines forced to drink Call the Warp Squirrel's pee-pee to become a pee-pee Marine. It is tragic. It genuinely goddamn is. Goddamn bloody Primaris Marines.
Look at that.
Rock.
Oh, go ahead.
We're not looking at that, Kyle. We're not looking at your feet pics. Fuck
no, chat
Disgusting.
is like, because I had this model commissioned for Arch because it's a gift for my little blonde slut, because you know she's useful at times, but that one stung, didn't it? But look at all the people requesting link for the Barch Squad. I should probably post this on the Barch Squad, otherwise it's not there. Let's do that.
You only get entrance if you can post Homelander memes.
You're gonna have an Arch's server, unlike mine. You're gonna have to sit in a box for like a few days, though.
Just a little while to read out the memes.
Hold on, I'm getting a link. First, I'm gonna post this in the Barch Squad before I forget. Post there. Concept of Barch. Now let's get a link.
TZ Rock says it was part of a cycle. The dragon was only the latest iteration of the story. It was well known all over the world. There you go. Wheel of Time is garbage. Scarpy the Stranger. Gods of Egypt made a bunch of Egyptian gods white. Good. Good. Continue with that. But see, I don't want the white people to be the main characters because that's too obvious, right? I just want random extras to be painfully white. And obviously white. That will be beautiful. Nobody point it out. Nobody draw attention to it. They'll just be in the background so that people will have to do the double take and be like, hold on. You need to sneak him in. A little bit here, a little bit there. Carefully, subtly. But it must be there. Jafar the Blade says, Arch, Space Marine 2 exists, but look on the bright side, at least you're not a streamer who leaves his house to get more fat to add his rotund form and leave his stream on his Uplay screen. That's true. That's true. That is a good thing you bring up there. So, to add to the Book of Kibs, yesterday, we were going to play Anno 1800. And Kyle was like, I'm just going to go and get my buckets of soup from my mother, who apparently makes him buckets of soups, and then he was going to stop on the way to collect his buckets of soups to get a fucking pizza, because Jesus. And so he asked Disco, can you scream for me? And Disco sighs heavily.
She always sighs.
And
that's normal.
Eventually acquiesces. And so sees streaming, but Kyle doesn't switch it over. He minimizes his game, and instead of focusing on Disco's stream, he simply just puts up the Uplay launcher. And then he fucking leaves for like an hour.
Firstly, the roads were bad. I was like, yeah, I'll beat them before the snowstorm arrives. I didn't beat the snowstorm. I got hit in the middle of it. Oh, no. And then I listened to them. Because I pull up the stream on my phone while I'm driving, and I'm listening to it, right, in the background. And I just listen to Disco, Arch, and fucking Fair Nazi berate me. Berate me 15 minutes there, and then because the roads got back, 25 minutes back. And they just kept going. And then I got back, and I sat down, and I'm like, I'm back. And then first thing they did, berate me. And then Bubbles joins, and then they have to, of course, they have to tell the story again, so we have to hear the story again. The same
this story is going to be retold with frightening regularity from here on.
It was quite bad. This is the last time. Look, that soup is great. It was worth it. But damn. Should have just waited another day and just did it today instead of yesterday. It would have been better. Tragedy. Keep getting through the supers. Let's go, Grandpa. They're only piling up from this point onward.
Hold on, Kyle. I'm doing a thing.
Are you? Okay, fair enough.
I needed to tweet out that Homelander one just because.
Oh, you piece of crap. Let's go take a look on Twitter.
I liked that one. It's awful, but it's cringy enough.
The people that hate follow you, I'm sure, will be like, they'll retweet like, because Arch is unhinged, he's a murderer.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is evil. Fair enough.
Outraged Deer says, have you read the first Law series? I hope it never gets an adaptation. But if you don't know, it's a story where subverting expectations is done well. That is absolutely true. I have read the first Law, and it is brilliant. It's one of those things that literally everyone needs to read. The first Law is fantastic, and it really does subvert expectations in an amazing way. Because far too often, shows just do a twist that makes no sense because fuck you, we needed to have one. The first Law doesn't do that, but it gives you a twist that is just astonishingly well done. And I hope it's never ever adopted in any way, shape, or form, because that is going to be disgusting and awful. And it needs to not happen. Never. Allboy Aladdin says, greetings, Arch. How would you feel for a 40k game where you play as a commissar and the gameplay is like Mass Effect, but without the writing? Well, there would also have to be frequent executions, and I would have to be put in charge of a felonid regiment, because that would be funny.
As you blow their little fucking cat ear brains out.
Only when they won't listen, Kyle. Only when they won't listen.
Oh, the poor felonids. You know what the felonids are, really? They're probably actually just terrible furry monsters. That's what they really are.
No, what they are, they're 1980s cat girls. That's what they are.
Oh, no. That's not good. That means they're covered in full fur. Gay.
No. The 1980s anime cat girls. You know, the one with the ridiculous over-the-top hair. He usually carried like half an arsenal's worth of weaponry.
Oh, God, the 80s style one. No, no. The hair's poofy.
Yes.
Poofy.
The hard poof. I loved those. Those were bloody insane looking. All of them. Like massive, massive, massive hair. And armed to the teeth. They were also extraordinarily violent, I remember. They were cool.
Wait, they never made official art, though. I do like how some people in chat are vomiting. Yes. Throw up. You should. I would, too.
See, I need to try and find an example of them now, but DuckDuckGo is too covered in the traditional cat girls. They're all the kawaii little fluffy ones. That's not what we're looking for here. We're looking for some of the hard floof with the machine guns attached to it. God damn it. DuckDuckGo fails me yet again.
Typical. Typical search engine. Doing
surely
search engine stuff. I want to put the fat man on the screen, but you're taking forever to... He's so fat. He's chubby. He's round. He's basically Fat Bubs. Tubby Bubby. Incarnate. It is a sphere. I'm just saying that. It's a sphere. Chat's wheeling by faster.
Impossible to find now. God damn it. Right, fine. Moving on, John McAfee says, remember Epstein did not kill himself. McAfee did not kill himself. Ghislaine Maxwell trial is covered up to protect the elites and Julian Assange extradition is approved. Both Maxwell and Assange is going to get Epstein. Well, we'll have to see about that.
He's going to do a flip.
It is, the Maxwell trial tracker did get mysteriously yeeted off Twitter recently, and nobody is covering it. Not a single publication is covering it.
So you're telling me
mildly suspicious, yes.
we've got a bit of a Nuremberg trial situation where we're like, and die.
There's also a lot of CEOs who's stepping down recently. It's a mildly suspicious thing.
See, some members of chat are talking about the same snowstorm. That one came really out of nowhere. It came fast.
Only for people who drive on fucking summer tires, Kyle. You stupid little monkey.
It was a little bit slidey, but we managed to stay out of the ditch. That's good.
Dean Goldstar says, starts watching and the first thing I see is Arch singing Who Let the Dogs Out. I love everyone here with a burning passion and we all need to breed kids to celebrate. That is an that is an untraditional way of celebration, but I, for one, will not stand in your way. Lubu, or Boag as we call him, says, thoughts on Toy pulling a GW and YouTuber totally not Mark. They hit him with a ton of claims in his videos and channel in quick succession. I don't know about that, unfortunately, but that does sound like good old-fashioned corporate faggotry, where they hit you with all of the claims at once so as to make sure you get yeeted off your account. Because the thing is, you do have the potential to appeal these various strikes and claims. Unless they send 3 of them at a time, at which point your channel is auto-shuttered and you lose access to YouTube creator support and, of course, to the appeal mechanics. 3-strike system wasn't perhaps the most thought-out idea ever, frankly.
Ah, found it. Thank you, Brocoli. He had popped a link. He had said in chat that he dropped a link in Discord server. And Barge's Discord server, which is madly difficult for me to find stuff in, but I found it. I pulled it up on stream. It's probably the exact thing you're talking about. This is the art I was actually thinking about, too. Sending it to Barge Neo. There.
Yes, exactly that.
Poofy.
Yep.
Definitely 1980s.
Yep. Those are the catgirls we need more of. Incredibly violent catgirls in spiked leather armor with machine guns riding jet bikes. Reject modernity, embrace tradition.
Yes, embrace. Look at that. His Norwegian slipping.
Impregnate tradition, yes.
I mean, there's 2 females right there.
I wonder how their hair stays that way. Like, that's one of those interesting questions.
I don't know. It's a thing you do to your hair. Pretty descriptive.
Lazier Soda says, thanks for the Eldar lore the other day. Hopefully you can do the other aspects. Which one is your favorite? Dark Reapers for the win. Death to Primaris. Death to Primaris. Striking Scorpions, they're my favorite because they never get to be in any video games ever, except in Dawn of War 3, which, if anything, was just a middle finger. Like, we're finally getting a video game? Oh, thank God! Which title is it? Dawn of War 3. No!
You're happy. Don't lie. I remember when Dawn of War 3 was announced, Arch was like, I think he was skeptical, if I remember right.
See, the trailer looked a bit off to me. Like, it was weird.
Yeah,
in
like,
its own way.
people say, like, oh, the Dawn of War 3 trailer is really good. And I look at it, and I look at Dawn of War 1's trailer, and I'm like, yeah,
it
but, like,
cool,
that was better.
Already, you could kind of feel that they were devaluing the setting a little bit by having it all, like, raining dead space marines. Like, okay.
Well, no, that was poetic because that's how useless your units are in that game. Like, it is raining corpses.
That's what I mean. That's why it was already a little bit of a warning flag, like,
Like, Criminy, like, Command & Conquer is more of a macro game, but unit preservation is a bigger thing in Command & Conquer than it is in Dawn of War 3. And that game, like, unit preservation, yeah, it's important, but it's not, like, the be-all, end-all. But my God, Dawn of War 3, your units, throw them into the meat grinder. Replenishment is for the weak.
And infantry is for the weak. Once you hit the middle game, it's just tanks. Because infantry dies too fast.
Tank spam. Yeah, I do remember it was just armor. Just spamming the most vehicles and then just, like, nuking the other side down.
It's the only way to go. John McKenna asks, have you tried playing Frostpunk? I have. I mean, it's a cool game. It does have some interesting choices. I like the theme, the theory of it, but it's so goddamn linear because it's literally linear, or circular in this case, theoretically, because you can only build in certain square, like circular areas, radiating out from the central hub. Like it's a really basic bitch city builder, really. Cool idea, but it could use a lot more stuff. Based Shaman says, how much would you like to bet GW will introduce female Space Marines in Space Marine 2? I don't think they're going to be that crazy yet. I hope not, at least. Gion says, had a friend that tried to get me into Warhammer. Now I'm trying to figure out how to get rid of the army I bought on eBay. Good job, GW. They have been skilled. Lamandorius says, sort of like buying Superchats. Hey Arch, with Space Marine 2 finally coming out, do you think it's going to have woke bullshit shoved into it? Yes, unfortunately, I have a sneaking suspicion that it will. Yes. Mostly because, again, the writer is overtly political. Their entire Twitter feed is overtly political, and they never mention 40k ever before. Like, we'll
Yeah,
see, but
that's one point of criticism I have towards Oliver, who was talking to me. Like, Oliver might very well be a fan, but when I looked through his Twitter and I looked through that girl's Twitter, like, one thing I noticed is I didn't actually see that much 40k, that much Warhammer.
nope.
Except for, them, of course, announcing that they're working on the project. Which, to me, it feels like platitudes, It's all talk, and, like, I would like to believe them, but we need actual results. Proof.
Mm-hmm. Alamon Darius, again, donates a very generous $20. Hey Arch, I'm not 100% sure how long I've subscribed to your channel, but I think the first video I watched was on the Tusker Demon Killer. That definitely sold me. So is the writer of the first Space Marine not doing the second at all? Not as far as I know. Now, the transgender woman is one of the writer. It was a little bit confusing because first she put up a tweet saying that she was the senior writer. So people were thinking that she was the lead writer, and she's later said that she's not the lead writer. So there's presumably other writers.
Yep, normally
Yeah.
that's pretty normal. Like, a lot of, well, with bigger teams, because they can afford to have additional writers, because supporting writers help, because there's a lot to write normally.
But now we'll finally we'll save the rest of the super chat for a little bit later, because I want to talk about Homeworld 3, what little there is. And no, Kyle, we're not going to bring the fat man up on stream for a very long time yet.
Not yet.
Suffer, horse.
We're bringing it up today because there's enough stuff to talk about it.
I don't know, Kyle. We're getting awfully close to the cutoff point.
You're making money from this. You don't get to complain.
Let's just have to end it right here.
We get to talk about Pork Chop, but first, Homeworld 3.
Maybe you have to put up more Homelander before I let you talk about Pork Chop.
Okay, I'll put up more fucking Homelander after the Homeworld 3 stuff. If you let me talk about Pork Chop.
So, Homeworld 3, right? Homeworld 3 was announced years and years and years and years ago. Like, it's been a while now. And there's been no word, like complete radio silence ever since. I think we got like a handful of concept art sketches, and that was it.
Yeah, it's been quiet for a long time after Desert of Karak came out from Blackbird
And
Interactive.
To be fair, Desert of Karax was not a Homeworld game. It had nothing to do with the Homeworld series whatsoever. But it was actually a reasonable RTS in my opinion. Like it was okay.
Listen, it's supposed to be a prequel to Homeworld 1. Like, I don't mind it as a spin-off, And it was a spin-off. They didn't try to hide that fact.
It was a spin-off, but honestly, I feel like that game would have done better and sold better and been received better if it was something completely different. If it was called like Deserts, Home of Black People and Vehicles That Go Fast. It would have sold better because there would have been no expectations. I feel like the fact that people thought it would be Homeworld didn't do them any real favors.
Yeah, I think Deserts of Crack underperformed. It also, okay, this is actually something that I'm refreshed by because I was annoyed by. They did make a couple of content packs adding some additional faction stuff, but the problem Deserts of Crack had was that support in terms of multiplayer was abysmal, if I remember right.
Mm-hmm.
She looked really derpy when she did that thing with her hands and looked up. That didn't look good visually. I get what they're going for, like angelic, but it looked derpy. The new mothership looks interesting though. It's kind of like it's just the same thing but flipped horizontally, but it looks like it's better armed than the previous motherships, based on what I'm seeing thus far. I'm assuming that big vertical ship is or horizontal ship is that.
Well, we don't know about that because in the trailer there's another thing that looks a lot like the mothership,
Could
and
be
it's the
another,
right way around.
maybe Tydani Empire or something, or Tydani Republic or whatever it's called. It's been a while since I've read
Maybe.
up on the Homeworld lore. Gonna
But
have the
now
big
we
doozy.
finally did get a trailer, and in the trailer we do see some gameplay.
Well,
Theoretically,
scripted.
technically, kinda.
Some of the like when you're seeing the ships and stuff, that is in game in engine, but it's scripted. So we can see some of the models and the visual rendering, but there's no actual gameplay because it's all scripted.
Yeah. But the visual of it, they're getting the visuals right, like the streaks behind the various crafts, the blues and the darks, the look of the space systems, the look of the ships, the oranges and the way ships are built too, like they come out of the mothership and there's little hangars. The explosion effects look really light and nice. Like you've got tons of little flak bursts coming out, you got projectiles flying back and forth. A lot of that looks really quite cool. The question is, of course, if there's some gameplay to back it up at some point.
Yes, and it does have, if I recall correctly, Blackbird Interactive, which are the remnants of actual Homeworld. So unlike the Space Marine game, there's actually veterans from the previous titles working on this title. So it actually has a lot of promise behind it. It does have Gearbox as publisher, and I can hate Gearbox so much. Yep, Blackbird Interactive. Yeah, okay. So there's actually, there's actually pretty good potential for that.
Hmm. And interestingly enough, they've gone the exact opposite direction of every other game company and TV company and movie company out there, in that they have made Karan Sajet more pretty rather than less. This is weird, and I don't know how to feel about it.
Yeah, she is prettier. The one thing that's weird about this trailer is she does that thing where she tries to look angelic, but the way the visual like render coloring is for her neck, it makes her look like her neck just sort of merges with her chin.
Her neck and her face, they've got a little bit of they've got a bit of shiny skin syndrome there, which makes her entire face just look a bit off,
Yeah, it's also because she's in that
almost
tank
ghoulish.
of liquid, if I remember right.
Hmm.
Because she's actually in like some sort of fluid.
She is the mothership. She is
Hmm.
motherland.
Where's Daddy Ship?
It's on the way to imprego her. That's where all of those little ships come from.
Oh no.
Oh no, indeed.
The ship designs look solid.
Yeah, and like I'm more cautiously optimistic to this than I am Space Marine, honestly, because the Space Marine trailer too. We didn't mention that too much, but the trailer, it had the right little slishy slashy things in it, but
Oh, I could bring up
it
the trailer for
it
Space Marine 2 if you want.
lacked the weight. It lacked the feel and the roar of it.
Hey, somebody sent me.
I do hope Homeworld 3 is good, because we need more strategy games. We need more good strategy games. In before they decide to go like, yeah, we know we said this would be a strategy game, but we decided to actually make it like an erotic RPG instead. Yes. And also, that release date, Q4 2022. Like, holy shit, this thing will have been in development for more time than, I don't even know, the Second World War. It's been a while.
I mean, there's lots of factors at play when it comes to development. Because one problem is a lot of people will be like, oh, it's stuck in development hell or this or that. It could have simply just not had the resources allocated, meaning it just wasn't going anywhere. Because let's be honest, Gearbox is notorious for lots of stuff. Like, Gearbox is responsible, if my memory serves me correct, I'm not getting the companies mixed up, is responsible for Aliens Colonial Marines because they sapped the money out of the development for that game and then dumped it into Borderlands, which is why Aliens Colonial Marines is so bad. That's also why Sega does not like Gearbox, because they dicked them over on that game because they promised them a good game and Sega gave them the money and they took that money and spent it on their Borderlands game instead of the Aliens Colonial Marine game. Gearbox is the part that makes me concerned. Again, much like Space Marine, cautious. If you want to be optimistic, awesome. If you want to be interested, that's great. But don't buy into the hype. Just wait and see, because there's too many variables. Isn't that right, Barch? Barch, I don't agree. Assuming.
No, I think instead. All right, so Homeworld 3, all we can really do now is hope and pray. That's it. Hope and pray. That's why I'm going to cut this subject off short by saying that Activision Blizzard has recently been accused of stealing their employees' breast milk.
That wasn't on today's list of topics.
No, but it's a fantastic segue, because now we can go look at the fat man tits that has got Kyle so excited.
Fat man. Look
you
at
imagine,
these.
chat, chugging down on those mummy milkers as they squirt their filthy fluids inside of you.
Oh yeah, the spice must flow, am I right? Fat man. Oh, the Baron looks fantastic. I love how the art direction for the Dune RTS though. I don't know about the gameplay, but the art direction makes me happy with the character model. He looks very upset.
So the Dune thing is a weird one. So it's being made by Shiro Games, Level Infinite. Apparently they were involved in Northgard, which is a kind of middling city builder thing. Funcom is an immediate little red flag for me, because they are... If Slytherin is the kings of hitting the middle of the road every time, Funcom is the kings of hitting slightly below the middle of the road every time.
Whoops.
And it's also the way they're marketing this is really weird. So it's a real-time 4X strategy game that looks like a turn-based Civ game.
Yeah, like the cities from the gameplay pictures, which I'll pull up after this trailer. What they reminded me of is they actually remind me very much of like hexagons, like the game's operating some sort of hex tile system. So when you generally see a hex tile or a grid square system, generally it's a turn-based game normally, right? Like that's normally how it goes. But the game claims and alleges that it's a real-time strategy with 4X elements, meaning you got diplomacy, you've got intrigue, espionage, you've got, your traditional warfare, and there's other factions to, play with besides the, the Harkonnen and the Atreides. So that's cool. I'm wondering if they're going to make the Westwood faction from the Dune RTSs in the game. House Ordos, which I believe was a Westwood made-up faction. Just a personal thing. It'd be really kind of cool to see them in there, too.
And the Sand Nibbers.
The Fremen. Get to see the Emperor. Yeah, pull up the pictures. Oh, God, their website's so laggy all of a sudden. It was loading just fine, but now it's super laggy. I think there's a lot of traffic on it, or I don't know. I don't know what's happening. But yeah, look at those pictures. You got some infantrymen there, but like it's very much the goal isn't focused on the combat. It's more so the grand strategy aspect. So that's what they're focusing on. So military is just another tool. I'm not sure. The map looks fine. It looks pretty, but I'm not really keen on the unit models too much.
No, the unit models are extraordinarily low poly.
But I mean, if anything, that means that it better not have performance problems. I'm gonna say that much. Ooh, choppy website. Choppy. Website, step it. You're gonna make me have a fit.
I do like some of the ideas. Like you got the sand. It blows in the wind. It's like I'm dangerous because I'm sand at velocity. And you gotta recruit. You gotta scout out the area, looking for resources, looking for the spashed melange, and then you gotta watch your pathetically pixelated infantry fight the enemy's pathetically pixelated infantry in a real-time 4x setting. Like that just sounds weird.
It does, and a part of me when I first saw this, like, I don't know. I really, 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 I really want to do an RTS. And this isn't particularly what I was hoping for. What I was hoping for is EA would get off their fat ass and actually do something with the license, because I'm pretty sure they have the Dune RTS license, if I remember right. Or they should do, like, God, a new Dune 2000 would be fantastic. Like Dune, a new Dune RTS, classic one. That's what I really like, but seems to be like the closest we're getting to a Dune video game at the moment. Still potential for more. And this is good potential, because that means if there's a few games in development, maybe we'll see some more Dune games, because Dune is a really interesting setting for video game adaptations, and has always been an interesting setting for RPGs and strategy games specifically. Referencing both the Westwood Dune and Dune 2, as well as Dune 2000 RTSs. Honorable mention is Emperor Battle for Dune, but I feel like that's a very divisive Dune game. Some people love it, some people hate it. I just like the Westwood cutscenes. I hope they have some sort of level of cheese cutscenes with these 3D model characters, like the Baron Harkonnen maybe says some stuff. There's some cutscenes with some events. That'd be nice. But I would like some gameplay, because it looks like there's some sort of city management. There's economy, and there's the game. The game did talk about like espionage and whatnot, so you can do spies, secret things. I wonder, actually, Arch, it might be based on the Dune board game. Maybe that could be interesting. That was kind of a cool concept. I always wanted to play it, but no one knew how to play it.
Nobody wants to play with you.
But the Dune board game is kind of like that. So this might be a digitization and real time, or made to take some inspiration from the Dune board game.
A real-time digitization of the board game with big manly tits.
With big mommy milkers.
Daddy milkers, actually.
Look at those daddy milkies, Chad. Behold the mighty milkies. Now that half of Chad is now vomiting. Oh, they did a good job with the Baron Harkonnen. He looks so derpy.
You're so enamored with this, and I do not understand.
Look at how dumb he looks.
I will say this. If any game ever needed cosmetic DLC, it's this one, because I want that, but naked.
Oh, no. They need a scene where he gets out of his spice bath,
Like, we need a full scene with him just toweling off, etc., drying himself, humming to himself, really digging into every massively overweight nook and cranny, lifting the flabs to wipe out the goo. It would be instant victory in any multiplayer match, because you just spam them with diplomatic requests and they just leave. Like, no, don't want to see that again.
Oh, I do hope they nail down the mentats. So if you play as Harkonnen, they have their own, like, mentat, sort of like they did in the Dune RTS. The Harkonnen one's all weaselly and, I do love how in the old RTSs they were always like, they're a borderline on killing him. It was like, if you're not useful in, like, 5 seconds, I'm going to kill you. One, and he's like, there is another way off this world. I do like that cheese.
What we need is the following scene. Baron Harkonnen fucking butt naked, and you're seeing him from the rear as there's a little bit of steam going out, the anime girl steam, just obscuring his crack enough to make it legal, as he wobbles from side to side, shaking that ass a little bit, the flabs just violently vibrating, and then he does that dramatic turnaround like in the Civilization games, when the leader turns around a little bit, like, and you just see the tits swinging in the wind, just flop.
Makes like plapping sounds, like fleshy sounds.
As they hit his body, like they reach the limit of the tension capabilities of his flesh, and they just slap violently down to his flesh again. Splash.
Also, chat raises a good point. Baron Harkonnen would probably not dry himself. His servants will do that for him.
See, that's true, but now we have to introduce the element of little servant boys or girls drying off that man mountain, and I don't think we want to go there.
That's creepy, but honestly, it makes sense because the Harkonnen are creepy.
But the goal here is to discuss your multiplayer opponent, Kyle, not to be creepy.
I wonder how the
Get with the
Sardaukar are
program.
gonna work. I wonder. Oh, I hope it's not poop. I noticed there's resources and they're trading. Also, I want to point out that this screenshot is Leto Atreides. Oh, cool. He's like the leader of the Atreides. That's cool. They picked a badass then. Leto Atreides is trading with Vladimir Harkonnen. That just doesn't seem like it would happen. But it's a video game, so I'm willing to brush that aside.
Well, it's the same problems with like Total War Warhammer when the fucking dwarves and the high elves get together and like, let's be
It's
friends.
Yeah, it's what we call game logic because it is a video game and it's meant to be somewhat sandboxy so that there can be different outcomes. I am curious to know how it plays, though. I would very much like to get my hands on it. Developer, give me. I hope it's good, but I am worried because here I'll pull up one of these bigger maps. This is like a big zoom out map, so it's like okay, clearly there's some sort of provincial system, and different provinces have different resources and value to them. And then there are multiple factions. It has me curious on how it's going to play out. Harvesters, dune spice harvesters, ornithopters, and military. Okay, so there seems to be some sort of pop cap on the military. Probably because logistics. It's on a fucking desert world. I'm not surprised. Ornithopters are on their own thing. I don't know what any of those buttons or resource symbols mean. Just have to guess. New agent. It's on Steam. I got a gift. I need to see the store, though. I don't know. What did Barge make of it? I think here also is going to require a lot of... Well, with every game, it should be skepticism. I hope it's good, just like I hope Space Marine 2 is good, but... I hoped Eternal Crusade would be good, and what did that give me? A lot less money.
I think that the idea of different skins for Baron Harkonnen are still the leading reason for why I want this video game.
But why? Why do you want these things, Barch?
Because Kyle, see, I've read up on that whole thing where some people can't see pictures in their heads, and these people are sad people because they can't ever enjoy the full-flaced view of a nude Baron Harkonnen without this game becoming popular enough to show it to them. I also just want to point out Baron Harkonnen's fingers, his hands is bigger than his head.
That's a good point. Those are friggin' huge hands.
Those are friggin' huge hands. Yes, they're huggers. That's what they are. They're huggers, Kyle.
They're gropers, some might say.
Like Baron Harkonnen's superpower is his ability to grope a female assistant's entire ass with one hand. Like the Baron does not satisfy himself with a cheek. No, no, no. Not at all. The whole damn thing. Ah, what a world. What a world, Kyle. What a world.
Charters and
What
voting.
a wonderful world.
I wonder how that's going to work. I do agree with some people in chat. The graphics look a little bit like a phone game. Yeah, they do look like they're very lower on the poly scale. Definitely, because they are. They went for a stylistic approach with the visuals, which, considering the company developing it, I'm not too surprised they went that route, and the publisher, because they probably don't have the resources to make a high-end AAA budget thing. That's why you normally go for stylization to basically
incredibly poor and
cover
sad.
up. I'm just concerned that the gameplay is going to be like Catan or something.
For now, there is too many uncertainties to make much in the way of assumptions. I have allowed you to put your fat man on screen, and for that you shall be happy, as I proceed to read the rest of the super chats. which
Time
will
to
now
put
be
Barch
filled
on
with
screen.
people requesting nude Harkonnen art.
Nude Harkonnen art. Oh, we need Barch X Harkonnen, chat. I'm sure that'll tick someone's fetish box. Now I smile as I wait for the responses.
Homelander only, not Harkonnen. Homelander.
Arch wants to get railed by Homelander. I knew it.
Inquisitor Jack says, Kibbs, are you still looking for easy recipes that freeze and reheat well? I have a shepherd cottage pie recipe that fits the bill. Discorded too? Question mark.
You can send me a
Disgusting.
DM if you got recipes. I'm trying to cut down on spending so I can spend more on my personal projects.
You should just earn more money, Kyle. It's easier.
I wish it was that simple.
Boeing asked Racifist last night, or asked, I get, when you guys were playing Mercenaries together, he said he was open to it, so when is it happening? That's up to Kyle. Kyle is the one who's organizing things now. Kyle was going to organize a Beyond the Wire event because Reza was gushing happily over that for not too long ago.
I saw him on Twitter. He was complaining about the Austro-Hungarian Empire not being added, and they'd added 4 Entente powers. Now even the Canadians. Honestly, the fact that they haven't even added the Ottoman Empire or the Austro-Hungarian Empire is actually a shame. Because I was looking at Beyond the Wire. It's actually quite interesting. But, like, that's seriously missed out. The Austro-Hungarians, honestly, they get waysided way too much, but they actually played a pivotal role, especially on the Eastern Front.
Yeah, but the Russians would never have been able to stay in the war for so long if they didn't have something soft to punch.
Quit being mean, little Habsburg. They tried so hard.
See, a key integral feature of playing as an Austro-Hungarian is that your keys all randomly remap themselves to either a Serbian, Hungarian, or Bulgarian keyboard.
And you have a chance of where it just garbles the VC or text, so when you're trying to communicate. So you're like, what did that officer say? And you have to ask another player to translate it. The Austro-Hungarian Empire was a multicultural empire, which had all the problems of a multicultural empire.
Yeah, multiculturalism didn't work back then either. It led to an incredibly unstable hellhole.
Their military was competent in some areas, and their counteroffensive against the Italians went well for a bit.
Against the Italians? Kyle, listen to yourself. They could fight the Italians.
They could also fight the Tsarist Russians. They took ground. They were there.
Meanwhile, there's Germany in the middle, just like, yes, I'm fighting the Americans, the British, the French, the Russians, the Italians. Basically the whole world. And then there's Austria-Hungary, like, oh my god, the Italians are attacking across the mountains again.
I'm
scared. Save me, Papa Germany.
It's like when you play Hearts of Iron cooperatively and you just have that one friend who's like, is there a frontline decays, and they just capitulate. You're like, unless a new war front opens up. Good stuff. Uh-oh. Chat says, do not Google search Baron Harkonnen Rule 34. You were a brave lad for doing such a thing.
Very. Jesus is here, look, Buzzy says, hail Arch and Kibbs. Imagine if the British had a Maxim or weirdly an MG42 at Battle of Rorke's Drift. Imagine the Zulus might have retired sooner. Well, maybe, but remember, they did have a lot of heavier firepower. They even had some cannons, I believe, but they didn't bother emplacing them. So when the black people came storming down from the mountains, they were like, "Aww, they're already beyond our range. That's tragic." And then they got slaughtered by little sticks. Ah, the English. What a bunch of incompetents they truly are. Shame the English, for they deserve it. Belisarius Call says, greetings, Arch. It is I, Belisarius Call. The most momentous occasion is upon us as you see. I need only press this button, one last button, and the galaxy's first female space marine will be created. I'll press it in 3, 2, 1, and she's already fallen to chaos. At least you won't suicide like the transgender marine will.
Oof. Spicy,
Boag
but I
says,
like it.
Nick Rokita seems to be interested in having Pipkin Pippa on stream soon, has reached out. Well, when will you guys have the cutest rabbit on? Jesus Christ. This is becoming a thing now.
Is that real? Did he actually?
Boag is making lying noises, I think.
Yeah, he is. He really wants to bring on this Peepa. Oh, God, Peepa. The name Peepa. What the fuck is a Peepa?
Kyle, I've already brought on like 7 guests. This one's on you. Go.
What do you mean? It was firstly it was my one of my members of my audience suggested we bring on Razorfist, and he gets credit for it. Cause then I was like, yeah, no, or no, it was Raging Golden Eagle, and I was like, yeah, no, not a bad idea. And then that's when we started doing it.
This is incorrect, Kyle. First, I bring on Sargon because I have deep connections with the deep state. And then I poked at Sargon to give me Razor, and he gave me Razor. And Raging Golden Eagle, that was me too. See, no, the rabbit is yours. You must pull your weight here.
Gotta contact a crazy girl. Oh boy, I'm sure that'll go well.
Not crazy, Kyle. Just,
How the heck? Firstly, okay, she's a VTuber. You want me to go out there, mess her like, hey, you want to come on?
Too, Kyle.
No, PNG tuber. We're a step above. We're classier. You want me to contact some Peepa girl and then like be like, hey, I know that you do VTubing stuff. You want to do something that's completely unrelated to that?
Yes. See, you already know how to do this.
That's not gonna work.
Boag will yell at you next time.
I'll try it on Twitter, but I'm pretty sure what's gonna happen. Boo, give me her Twitter. I'm gonna try it, but she's gonna like either block me, which is fair, or just not respond. He fucking messages me.
Half and half says, Kibbs, I feel you. I decided to drive half an hour to get some cans, I guess, for dinner. That snowstorm at night, it took 50 minutes each way. It's because you fuckers are driving on summer tires. Kyle told me about this, how he's driving on...
They're winter tires, not summer tires. Winter tires have grooves in them, and Arch's like, you need to get studded tires. Remember, Barch is the kind of guy who's got like 8 cars, and Kibbs has got 1, and it barely works.
Now, if it doesn't have spikes in it, if it doesn't have studs in it, it's a summer tire, Kyle. You know what has grooves in it? Fucking rain tires. Wet fucking tires. Tires for driving on shitty roads have grooves in it. Not fucking snow tires, you munchkin.
Oh my
Jesus
God.
Christ. No wonder you constantly drive off the road.
Firstly, never have driven off the road once. Never been in a car accident.
It should be illegal. It is illegal over here to drive on goddamn summer tires. Ugh. You're putting other people's lives at risk, Kyle, by being an irresponsible driver. Dawall, we need to put Kyle up against it, says, look up Catgirl Tank Police art. Ah, Tank Police. See, that one was another one of those funny little Japanese ideas where they basically went like, what if the police had to use tanks? It's a good question. What if the police had to use tank? And then somebody came up with the even better question. What if the police had to use giant fucking robots? Which was an even better question, in my opinion. Ah, Dominion Tank Police. Yes, yes, those are the proper girls. Those are the cat girls we need more of. All the modern cat girls are weak in comparison.
What would we even talk about? Hold on. With this Pipkin. What are we going to talk to Peepa about?
Oh, we talk about VTubing and, why people are getting into it. Why is it popular? Why does people choose to become VTubers now?
Because they're stupid. There, I answered your question.
It's an entirely different genre of YouTube.
Okay, fine. Hey, would you like to
I'm sure Boag would happily provide you with a list of goddamn topics too. Like Mein Kampf.
Now a link to Barch's channel. And you know what's going to happen? Nothing. That's what always happens anytime Kibbs messages somebody who's mega popular. What happens when Bubbles messages them? Elon Musk responds. And then was it Notch or whatever? I'm like, what the fuck? They just want that chunky bubby.
Says, Arch, the cat girls you're looking for can be found by searching for Puma twins. Good. Puma twins. So, the Puma twins. The Puma twins. Oh. It's an actual the. No. Inquisitor Jack says the CEO step down could be cashing out before the stock market crash and they go down with the corporations. That it could be as well. A la Mandoris. I guess my Streamlabs Super Chat did get through. Wasn't sure, which was why I did the second one. They do go through, but again, there's two different lists, so I read them a little bit intermingled. Speaking of, Glowy says we need a Mongol movie remake, but in the background, next to the 5 foot 4 inch Mongols, have a random 6 foot 8 inches pale trans woman with full drag on, and her cock hanging out, preferably. The Puma twins. Anna and Uni are a pair of tall, beautiful android cat girls who were created as love dolls to be marketed for profit. That sounds like a solid backstory to me. But then they decided to become outlaws, as love dolls do. I feel like this is a story that requires to be expanded upon, frankly.
You're welcome, chat. I did it. I did the cringe. I added a VTuber in the hopes that they'll notice. Here's a link to the tweet.
Good boy, Kyle. Now Boag will have to find something else to have us bring on. Geheime Staatspolizei. Of course, Austria, the birthplace of Hitler and Germany, is Hitler's home, is going full fascist by introducing compulsory vaccine. Of course, the Gestapo will be used to enforce these compulsory vaccines and throw people in jail. I didn't think they'd gone to compulsory yet, but I do know they were considering it, at least in Germany. Dark Innovator, Art and Kibbs, what do you think of the new Star Wars game Eclipse? I balk because it's apparently set in the High Republic era.
Ooh,
I
already
saw
not a fan
the
of that.
trailer,
Let's look.
and the trailer did look good, but it also didn't look like Star Wars. It looked like random things.
Vidges. Let's pull it up on stream. Oh boy.
It looked like stuff and things and things and stuff. That's about all I can really say on that. Could it be good? Meh, everything could be good, I suppose, but set during the High Republic era?
You're not a big fan of that.
There are many questions.
Mostly because that's Kathleen Kennedy's thing that she has inserted. The High Republic, the era which nothing happened and was an age of unprecedented peace and prosperity that led to the corruption of the Republic. Don't worry, it's filled
Except
with
for the
action
Jedi
adventures
genocide
now.
of the Outer Planets, mind you.
Don't worry, there's more stuff happening in the era where nothing supposedly happened.
Again, Jedi genocide. The Jedi are the bad people in the Star Wars universe.
Man, this doesn't even look like Star Wars. Like, Star Wars, it's just too much CG. Like, they started doing that with Revenge of the Sith, but like, you know.
See, that is my main concern. Like, it does not look like Star Wars. It's just a lot of things and stuff. And it could be almost any other science fiction universe. Like, the dudes that beat the drums. What are the dudes that beat the drums? What is the point of the dudes that beat the drums?
Don't know. Don't look at me. I don't know shit. Oh, a Nemoidian. That does make me happy. Nemoidians are cool. They're funny. Oh, wow, there's a massive ass army in the age of the demilitarization of the Republic. And there's massive battles in the age where there was peace.
There wasn't peace, Kyle. It was a lie.
Excuse me.
It was just more Jedi propaganda, I bet you. Goddamn Jedi. Disgusting little bastards.
So the Trade Federation's having some sort of fleet battle with some other power. I can believe that there were some conflicts, but like, come on. Come on. I don't know. Who knows? Maybe it is a good game, but I'm skeptical.
Don't Wookie me? Nicholas Kristoff says, Hail Arch and hello ANCAP cat trap anti-vax fake gamer girl. Didn't the Homeworld mothership female interface go comatose after getting connected to the ship? Well, kinda, but I mean, she was still talking to you through the whole, the thing, the interface. Like, she became the mothership, so. It's not so too much of a stretch to say that she could be an active participant in the new Homeworld. Genny Arlequin says, I bought the board game a couple of weeks ago. The art style and some of the icons look somewhat similar, referring to Dune, I'm supposing. I mean, it would make a certain amount of sense to basically just adopt a board game rule set and then slap on a real-time mode. Yeah, will work. Potentially. Shadow Fox 2300, so happy to see that now Stringstorm is starting to come into Battletech. Everyone's moving into Battletech these days.
Who?
It's Stringstorm.
I'm expecting you to explain.
Well, Kyle, you're going to be sorely disappointed. Yorazuya says, Greetings, Arch and Kibbs. Arch cooking show? When? Arch does not cook. Kyle can cook for you. That'd be another way to earn more money, Kyle, by making cooking videos.
I might have to. Cooking with Kibbs. At least it rolls off the tongue nice.
Indeed. And Jacob King says, being a hero is hard. Being a space marine, harder. Lol.
True.
I mean, that's true. Particularly if you're 400 years old and you've been interrogated by the Inquisition and they just kind of let you go because, you know, you were needed in a new Space Marine video game. Like, a valid excuse. We need you for the sequel. As far as rationales go, I guess it's one of the dumber ones. But now, with all of that being said and done, we're going to wrap up today's stream. So thank you all very much for watching. Thank you all for your generous donations as IDW pops in at the end. IDW says, IDW won't judge Kyle liking JJBA, though it homoerotic.
I think IDW needs to be beaten frequently.
I think IDW speaks the truth. I think IDW will have to be shielded from Kyle's threats of violence. IDW, then, yeah. See, every time I hear that word, I then need to go and look up those meme videos again, because they're great.
Oh, God.
Well, Inquisitor Jack, Kibbs, listen to Tuckaid by
Tuckaid.
Stringstorm.
Turkey did. We'll call it Turkey did. Tuckaid.
Also, what are your favorite mechs?
Mad Cat.
Titan is the correct answer.
Mad Cat. And no one says Mad Dog. That's what furries call it. That's what those Kleiner pigs call their fucking mechs. Blech. Tuckaid by I saw, actually, no, wait, now I did, that does ring a bell. They did like the anime, they tried to do like some sort of anime waifu thing for Warhammer, if I remember right. But like singing. Apparently they're doing Battletech now. I guess more people are going to be leaving too. Can't really blame them. Considering the situation. Gotta do what you gotta do.
Let's see, I'm pretty sure there was a waifu-ified version of the Mad Cat, who I'm sure I'm going to have to find now.
There's, I believe.
It would be a massively improved version, no doubt. Oh well. And Nicholas Kristoff at the end, look at the drummer in the trailer again, and then look at Tao. Tell me that doesn't look alike. No, you're entirely right.
I'll bring it back
does
up.
Look like a Tao.
I wasn't paying full attention to the drumming section because I was looking away at that time. It looks like a Tao. Is it towards the end? Oh, God.
Yes. Near the end. There's one of them that turns around.
Yeah, that definitely kind of looks like a Tao, but it's like gray. It's a gray Tao. Gray Tao.
Yes. Except for the color, everything else is a Tao.
You get rid of the little knobs on the head, too, and there you basically got a Tao. And then move the little nose thing to put a little vagina on the forehead. You're golden. I hate the Tao, so I'm probably going to hate these things too.
You probably are. And that's fine.
I will say,
Right.
though. Go
Now,
ahead.
before Kyle can dig me down deeper into a hole of bigotry.
See, the worst part is, hold on. I really like the Lucrehulks, or Lucherhulks, however you pronounce that. So, like, that scene, like, I like, but that's what... Oh, no, don't. You don't like it, Kibbs. You don't like it. You hate it. Dare I hope for some good Star Wars? I shouldn't. Hope is the road to disappointment, as we remind ourselves.
It is. It is the rope from which the Kibbs will dangle.
Pretty much.
And should be avoided whenever possible. Remember, the rope is your enemy.
Yep.
Now. Until next time, thank you all very much for watching, and I hope to see you all again soon next week. Have a good day.
Goodbye.